Fake jobs. By the way, I haven't forgotten about you guys. To my subscribers, I'm working on some real heavy hitters, some deep dive videos, full free classes, and it's gonna be awesome. And it's been taking me quite some time, but these videos are really just taking it to another level, further than I've ever gone before. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. I'm also in the process of working on my brand new channel. It's gonna be an investment banking technology channel. And if you wanna make those big dollars, or if you're already making a big dollar, but you want to make more, you want to level up, you're definitely going to want to subscribe. The skills that I'm teaching are skills that can land you $250,000, $300,000 salaries. Sky's the limit, as much as you want to push it. There are salaries out there that total comps of $400,000, $500,000. You could do that with the very skills that I'm teaching. You don't have to go to that level. There's a lot of options in the 150, 160, 170, 180 range, and that's base pay. But these skills that I'm teaching are very valuable, so you're not gonna wanna miss out on that. But that channel is not gonna be for general tech. This is specifically for investment banking technology. So DevOps, site reliability engineers, application support engineers, and so on and so forth. But let's talk about the fake jobs. So if you're not aware, and this is not even necessarily a new thing, people are talking about it now for some reason, but it's been going on for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget the first time I ran into this. And it was, I wish I remember the name of the company was, but it was this sort of a well-known company, but not typically one I would hear about in investment banking, but just kind of I'm aware of it, almost like a Fidelity in a way, because Fidelity is definitely a known name, but I don't usually hear anything about them. Just in my world, what I'm looking at, I just don't really run across them, but they're very well known. They've been on for a while. So anyways, a big player like that, and everybody was hounding me. I was looking for work, and I was, having a tough time at the time. I guess the market was bad at that time, and so many people kept contacting me about Wellington. I think it was Wellington. Was it Wellington? I don't know. It doesn't matter what the name of the company is, but I got so many people contacting me about this job, and it got annoying. It got to the point where when somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, I have this great opportunity," I already assumed that it's another person contacting me about the same role. And I'd usually be right, just making an assumption. That's how bad it was. Literally that bad that I could just assume and be correct many times. So, and it's like everyone's contacting you and you apply and it just doesn't go anywhere. And then it just keeps going on and on. So it's a long period of time. So what are they doing? What's the problem? Why are they not hiring people? Why is this job posting again? Why are so many people trying to promote this job? And I don't know how much responsibility that lies on the company themselves. I mean, a big company like that, should you just use an exclusive recruiter? Should you limit how many people are pushing your job out there? I mean, I guess from their perspective, the more recruiters that are shopping their jobs, looking for candidates, the bigger talent pool they can get. I don't know, man. I think there's got to be a better way. But recently I had another example. I think two examples. I had one firm, I will remain nameless. I'm going to give you enough details that someone in the industry might be like, I think I know who you're talking about. Let's just say it's not a domestic firm. It is, they are here, but they are based in another country. And they've been looking for someone, I would say, since February of this year. They've been looking for someone. I'm just going to go as far as to say it is fixed protocol is a big key skill that they're looking for. And I'm the Fixed Protocol channel, right? And I actually interviewed with them for this role, and apparently they were not impressed. So the Fixed Protocol guy did not impress them. You can take from that what you will, but I think that's an interesting context because obviously other people applying and not getting any answers don't have that context. They don't know who else they're interviewing with, or who are they competing with. So the Fixed guy was interviewed and didn't impress them. And I gotta tell you, the way the interview went, I didn't have a good feeling about it. I'm usually a pretty good judge of character, and I can sort of sense where a person's at and adjust to who I'm speaking to. And it was just so monotone, and I just really struggled to connect and really kind of gauge the person. And they almost seemed like they were like being bothered by having to do the interview kind of thing. Almost like maybe their manager said, "Hey, let's look for this person," and then they never approve it, or who knows what kind of corporate nonsense is going on. So yes, I interviewed, they turned me down, asked for feedback, and they really didn't have any feedback. So it's just like decline, no feedback, right? And then months have gone by, it is now June, and I'm getting people again contacting me in this exact same role. In the last few days, maybe 5 people have contacted me about that role. It's so much now that I recognize it. When I see the job description, I'm familiar with them. I'm like, okay, here we go again. So a lot of times they'll message me on LinkedIn and I'll just say the name of the company and they'd be like, "Yeah, it's them. Have they submitted you?" Or, so it's, so what's going on? Right now, unfortunately, it is an employer's market. So there's lots of top talent out there. I mean, you have the Fixed Protocol guy who's available, so there you have it. But anyway, there's absolutely no reason why known firm looking for someone with Fixed Protocol skills in 25 should be looking since January. So what they're doing exactly, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you what some of these firms are doing. But the other thing about it is, I actually have a contact there, someone who, I want to give too many details, but let's just say someone that I'm a first level contact with on LinkedIn, and it's somebody who I've, spoken to, maybe worked with, or, did some project with in the past. And I was reaching out to them on LinkedIn, no response, no response. I even texted them on their phones because I have their number, and no response. So this is a firm where I have someone that I know on the inside, and I can't get anything from them. They won't even respond to text messages. This is someone who, well, I'm gonna leave it at that. And then the interview was weird. And then it's been 4 or 5 months and they're still looking. If you're still looking for that long, you're not serious. So what are you really doing? I don't know. There's another firm who I interviewed around that same time, maybe March or so. This is a top tier firm. This is, I would say, top 5% or something like that. They're up there. Imagine, like a major hedge fund or, high frequency trading or something of that nature. They directly recruited me. So the HR reached out to me and I scheduled a call with them. That call went well. They scheduled a call with the hiring manager and I thought that went well, but apparently didn't go good enough. They declined and they didn't give me any details. Again, no feedback, so I've got nothing to work with. And then here we are 4 to 5 months later, and someone reaches out to me on LinkedIn and says, ooh, this big company with billions of dollars, whatever, is looking for someone, and it's a top tier firm. So I'm like, yeah, let's see what's going on. And then we schedule a call, and then I get on the call, and then right away, they're like, firm name. I'm like, okay. So then I tell them that I interviewed with that firm. I told them when, mentioned the names of the people, and they're like, yeah, that's who I'm dealing with. So it's the same manager, same firm. It's basically the same role. So they have some story about something, plans changed, blah. I don't know if they're just saying stuff to say stuff or it's legit. I don't know. But a little frustrated to be wasting time on something from months ago that you didn't get for who knows what reason. But that's what's going on, right? Now, put these situations aside because I don't know the actual reasons. There could be legitimate reasons why this is happening, but I'll talk about the illegitimate reasons that this is happening right now with other firms. So there are firms who are collecting resumes. That's number one. There are also firms who are pretending to be doing better than they are because they want for certain nosy people who are checking them out to see, like, oh, you have all these job postings. Why would you be posting for jobs if you're not doing well, right? Companies generally don't do hiring when they don't have money, right? So if you're hiring, that's an indicator, a positive indicator. So if you're looking to sort of, make your, pad your stocks or, just make the company look better than it is, you could pretend to have job openings and then just never hire anybody. You just have them posted and then but then when you think about, conspiracies like that, you would have to think who's doing that, right? Because a mid-level manager, is a mid-level manager involved in this level of conspiracy? So you're a mid-level manager and you're like, let me put some fake jobs out there so we're not looking to hire someone, but we want to make the company look better. You think that comes from a higher up. So then is it an HR thing? Is HR the one that's posting these things? So then is the top level, because this would be like a CEO or whatever would be the one, right? This kind of conspiracy, you'd think. CEO, CFO maybe. Is the top level HR person involved in a conspiracy with the CEO to pretend like the company looks better than it actually is? So are they having conversations, executive level conversations, and they're saying, hey, let's put out some job postings to make it look like we're doing better? Or is this a bogus conspiracy theory that someone came up with online and it's not really confirmed as an actual thing that firms are doing? I don't know, but if I try to think about the mechanisms of how this would actually work, I don't know, man. I don't know how that would work. Like who is doing this? Who's the one who came up with this plan? And who's involved in a conspiracy? Because the whole process of posting a job, in terms of who would do that, I would think a person at that level is not at the level of this kind of scheming. Now, a startup company, a smaller company, sure, right? I could see it at that level. But a major corporation, I don't know, man. That seems a little, unless there's a way that some high-level person could on their own, I mean, they're high level, right? So they could get access to the HR systems and post it themselves, so HR is not even involved. So you might have a mid-level manager be like, I know we were hiring for, I don't know, man. I don't know. But supposedly that's what people are saying that's being done. Other than that, there is the assessing the market. They want to see what candidates are accepting right now in terms of salaries. How much will it cost us to hire someone to do certain kinds of work? Maybe they want to submit a proposal. They actually do want to hire people, but they're not sure about the money. Maybe money's tight right now. So let's test the market out. And based on what we see, but even that, it's like a weird conspiracy. There's this website called Glassdoor. I think it's glassdoor.com. I would think if I were that HR person and I wanted to do a market analysis, I would use Glassdoor. I mean, the most accurate thing would be to actually interview candidates and do real negotiations, but then never really hire anyone. I mean, that's dirty tactics, but that would be the most accurate data because Glassdoor, how recent is the Glassdoor records? So I don't know. And I would think as an HR person, you would have access to tools that would better give you this data without having to pretend and, fake jobs. So again, the theory, I mean, I'm hearing this, but I mean, when I try to, go through the motions of what this would look like, it's kind of like, I don't know. Who's doing this and why? I mean, I know people are saying why they're doing it, but it's kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, well, it's kind of weird. Startups, though, maybe that's what they're talking about. You know what? All of these things, I could definitely see. Startup is more sort of Wild West, not so by the book. It's smaller, so the idea of mid-level managers talking directly to the CEO and scheming, sure. And especially if you're early in the firm, maybe you have stock options or something, so you're hugely incentivized to make the company grow, right? Instead of like a major corporation where you may focus on just yourself, on your own career. In a startup, you want the company to be successful because, there's a lot of upside for that, for your career, for your income, and keeping your job, because the firm doesn't do well, the firm shuts down, right? If you go work for a major firm, and they don't do necessarily all that well, they're probably not going to shut down. I mean, you might get laid off, but they're probably going to shut down. But a startup, it's more on your plate. So I could see those guys scheming. So maybe that's the answer. Maybe the phony shopping for resumes and whatever. Maybe that's some of it's amateur hour, because again, I don't think you need to do this stuff to figure out what the rates are, what people are willing to accept. I don't think that's necessary. I think a big corporation, you have tools and resources and know how to figure this stuff out. But a startup, people with lack of experience, maybe not as sophisticated, I could see them doing that tactic. And then the pretending like you're better than you are, again, startup company, younger company, I could see that. But I don't see, major Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York, Morgan Stanley. I don't see these type of firms doing that kind of stuff. But maybe I'm mistaken. I've never worked in HR. And I've never been a CEO. What do you think? This is Carlos Speaks Wall Street, and until next time, make sure to click on the like button, subscribe, and comment below and let me know your thoughts. Have you experienced one of these ghost jobs, and what do you think is really happening? And like I said before, stay tuned. My investment banking technology channel is going to be insane. And if you're really looking to level up your career, you're not going to miss out on that. I'm also working on an ebook. I am working on some classes. I'm going to do a lot of free classes here on YouTube, but for the higher level stuff, that is going to be hosted on my website. And a major transition here is I didn't want to do this sort of from a business perspective, but that's the nature of YouTube now. So I'm going all in because I really love teaching you guys and sharing this knowledge. And unfortunately, YouTube of today doesn't allow me to just do that casually, right? They want you to treat it more methodically in terms of how you approach things. So it's the nature of the beast, right? This is the platform. I got to work with what I'm given. So if I want to be able to continue helping you guys, I can't do the casual thing anymore. So I got to step things up big time. But the plus side is you're going to get much better content, because previously I really genuinely wanted to help you guys, but it wasn't business and it was really me volunteering my time. So that kind of made things a little limited. I still gave high quality content, but it could be much better, and it will be much better the way it's going to be. So you don't want to miss out on that. See you soon.